clear? Avi Lachman, are we clear? Ah, thank you, Aviax. Thank you, guys. Good to see you, Ellie Metz. Great to see you. Where's Akiva? What a job Akiva did with that video. Where's Rabbi Akiva? Outstanding, Rabbi Akiva. Highly recommended. Really funny. Nussin liked it as well. I see Nussin more like, thank you, Nussin. Thank you. Outstanding, outstanding, Chevra. Okay, let's get started. Thank you, Mordechai Levovitz. Thank you for being Yosef Groman. Thank you for being here. I want Ellie Metz. Wow. Ashi Jeremias, thank you for being here. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Chevra. I would like to study in Inyan in this past week's Parasha and Parashas Emer, to study something for a few minutes. Thank you, Ari Nachman, for being here. Yitzi Kaufman, thank you for being here. In this week's parasha, let me read one pasuk, and then I want to talk about two inyanim this afternoon. Vayetze ben Isha Yisraelis, and he goes out, this man whose mother is a Jew. We know his father was not a Yid. Vu ben Ish Mitzri, his father was a Mitzri. B'soich b'nei Yisrael. He goes out in the Jewish people. Vayinatzu b'machna, and he gets into a fight. Ben Yisraelis, this son of a Jewish mother, the Isha Yisraeli, together with another Yid, Vayinatzu b'machna, they get into a fight. Let me say, Rabbi, say the story, the way if you and I were there in real time, the way we would say the story, and then let's describe how Hashem says the story. There's a word, Rabbi, say, a very interesting word. People have their own narrative of events. We say over the story the way we see the event, and that's how we have our narrative of the story. In yeshiva and in this chabura that we have together, we speak a lot and we demand from ourselves honesty, to have an honest perspective of situations. Often people have narrative of stories that happen. They say over and they convince themselves how the story was, but it's not the reality how the story was. Somebody can come from any situation and say, somebody was so mean to me, they were impossible. And the true story was very, very different than they're saying it over. It's their own narrative, their own version of events. We strive that we see events with truthful eyes. We see the event the way Hashem sees the event. I'll give a mashal. I have a friend who, his father is a very mufka person. His father's very not worldly. That's a nature of his father. His father, by nature, it just doesn't know a lot what's going on in the world. The Balei Musar held that's a flaw in a person, and the person should work on being more worldly. The Alter of Kelm spoke a lot about this, knowing about the world, being more worldly. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter has a letter about this. But nonetheless, this friend of mine's father was very mufka. He was very unworldly. In his home, he grew up. His father was a masmid, was a Talmud Chacham, a wonderful person. He had this quirk. He wasn't worldly. In his family, he grew up that it's a maila. To not be worldly, to not know what's going on, is some form of maila. To somehow that's considered a good thing. So my friend has a narrative on his own life that he's mufka. He pretends and he acts that he doesn't know what's going on in this world. It's like a very interesting narrative, except one problem. My friend is very not mufka. He very much is very worldly. And it's tragic that he lives and builds a narrative that's far from true. I don't even think it's a milah to be mufka. That's not what my Rebbeim taught me. That's certainly not what my Rebbeim's taught them. I think a person lives in this world and has to have very good skills of dealing in this world. But in his mind, being mufka is a milah. But what he does then is he creates his own narrative. He has a narrative in his own life that he's mufka with a problem that he's not. So Rabbi said like this, it's very, very important to live reality, to be an honest person, and to see things the way they really happened. If we were this fellow, to me, this is a remarkable pasuk. If we were writing the story that happened, a man comes and he parks his tent, he pitches his tent in Shevet Dan. He has absolutely no rishus against the halacha. His father's a guy, is a Mitzri. His mother is from Shevet Dan. Lahalacha, he has no right to pitch his tent in Shevet Dan. A man comes over and gives him musar. Says Reb Yid, what are you pitching your tent here? And the Yid makes him move his tent. And the Yid's like an innocent bystander who's just doing his halacha, telling a Yid, you have no right to pitch your tent here. And this Yid who's kicked out of his place ends up cursing Hashem and ends up being chayiv misa. And the Yid who gave him musar would view it, I'm an innocent bystander. I just gave a little musar. Imagine a guy comes home from shul and he says to his wife, it was such an embarrassing scene. A guy in shul's cell phone kept going off. And I told him to stop. It's a chutzpah. It's not covered of shul. Please turn off your cell phone. So your narrative of events is a mechutzev had his cell phone on, and you told him to turn off his phone. That's your story. That's what you share with your spouse when you get home. But 1 second, let's listen to how Hashem saw the event. Let's listen to Hashem, to God's narrative, because God is emes, and the way Hashem sees it is what really happened. The Rabbi Shalom says, this Yid described the story that a Yid inappropriately pitched his tent in a place he wasn't allowed to pitch it, and I gave him a little musar. We all learn the Parshas Emor, and what does God say? Vayinotzu b'machne. There was a fight in the machne. The picture Hashem tells Meir Davidson and Dan Kalish is there was a barroom brawl in the machne. Vayinotzu b'machne is their fists flying, punches thrown. Vayinotzu, there's a fight. God describes a barroom brawl. I'm a very visual learner. I love Akiva's videos, all different visuals that he's presented to me many times, fascinating visuals. And Vayinotzu b'machne is the visual of a barroom brawl. I picture like punches, things broken. I picture like an MMA bout, Rabbi say. That's what God writes, Vayinotzu b'machne. There was a big fight. I can't imagine Vigi, this Yid who learned the Parsha, this Tzaddik Vigi, who walked up and he thought, like when he came home, I guarantee he didn't tell his wife when he came home, Morty Levovitz, he did not tell his wife there was a barroom brawl. He said some mechutziv tried to pitch his tent where he wasn't allowed to, and I told him to knock it off. But what God sees, what's true, is there was a fight because he wasn't sensitive. He wasn't sweet. He didn't do it in the right way. So what God reports, which is emes, is vayinotzu b'machne. There was a struggle and a fight in the machne. The Yid who thinks he's an innocent bystander, he's actually culpable. He's responsible. He's not an innocent bystander. He didn't say it sweetly. He didn't reach out. He wasn't mechabed the Yid. Vayinotzu b'machne, he made a fight. The importance of understanding the perspective of truth. And in the meantime, this person was overly aggressive. How do I know? Because the Torah says, Vayinotzu b'machne. He clearly didn't do it, and if Hirsch blames him for such, he did not break it up in a sweet, thoughtful, caring manner. If he did, it would have just said a Yid pitched his tent and another Yid gave him a hug, and in a beautiful, nice, calm manner, he spoke it out with him. But what's reported is Vayinotzu b'machna. Always to take a step back to see what's really going on. What went on is a fight in the machna, slugfest, because this Yid was not sweet and was not good about how he gave Musar to another Yid. We can come home and report that the guy had a mechutzav had his phone on in shul. In Shemayim, they see a big fight. He was wrong to have his phone on, and you were wrong that you were disrespectful to a Yid, that you didn't speak to him with kavod, that you didn't deal with him in the right way, to make sure to see things the way they are. Even in our complicated matzvahs, certainly everybody should be practicing social distancing. And certainly different people are afraid in different ways, but it's easy to stand up. And we can have things that are a massive pigiyah in kavod HaTorah, in kavod chachamim, and it can be under the name. What do you mean? I'm just worried about pikuach nefesh. But there's a reality. There's a reality from Hashem. There's an emes. There's a world of emes. And it matters how you do it. It matters how you say things. And it matters what your kavanos are as well. We don't want to find ourselves that our Hashem reports an event very, very different than what we're saying is happening. Vayinotzu b'machna, to me, it's one of the scariest two words in the Torah. There was a fight in the machna. That's not how the Yid, who simply thought he was telling another Yid some musar, would interpret it. But that's how Hashem interprets it, and that's the truth. Always to have demand tremendous honesty from ourselves, and to really think through our motives, to think through what we're doing, how we're doing it. We don't want to find ourselves that Hashem reports the event very, very different than we're living the event. It's one of the scariest psukim to me in the Torah. I thank Rav Ezi. Was Mekayim HaShabbos Haved on this vart. To me, it's an important vart. It's something to all of us who appreciate Musar and appreciate a demand of honesty on our lives, which is an essential of Musar. To be honest and to see what's happening real, this is important for us all in all the situations of our life, to take a step back, to think about the situation, think about another's perspective in the situation, try to see the emes of the situation and deal with tremendous yishuv hadas, with tremendous thought. We don't want us to act one way and God reports it a different way. We never want to find that happening. We want that our version of the story is mechavein, exactly how God reports the story, exact. So in any situation, we may view it another person's being so tough on me. Are you seeing what we're doing to him? Step back. Try to get it clear what's happening. Try to be mechav and see it how Hashem is seeing it. See the emes of the circumstance instead of creating false narratives. That's dangerous. I read this pasuk, I shudder. Vayinotzu b'machna, there was a slugfest in the machna, makes me shudder. Because I don't believe that's how the Yid who gave the Musar would report it. But that's how God reports it. And make sure that our narrative is in line with what the emes, what Hashem sees. That's the first thing that I wanted to mention. But that's not the topic. That's not the topic I wanted to speak about today. The topic I want to speak about today is really to introduce, it says, Vayetze ben Ishi Yisraelis. This man who ends up being Mekalo, this cursor, we're left asking what brings a person to fall so low? What was his story? What brings a person to fall so low? And I want to say one nekuda that I want to speak about today. It says, Vayetze ben Ishi Yisraelis. This man who ends up being Mekala, where did he come from? What brought him? What was the start of this story? So Rashi's second shot, Rashi says like this, Vayetz is mi parsha shelamala yatsa. He came off the last parsha of the Torah. Lig leg va'amar, he laughed and he said, he laughed at lechem aponim. And he said about lechem aponim, derech hamelech lecho pas chama. Kings eat warm bread, b'chol yoim. Ashema pas sainena shetisha yamim. Does a king eat cold bread 9 days old? He laughed at the lechem aponim. He was milagleg on a mitzvah. And I want to say, Rabbi, that a tremendous, tremendous goyim of chet is not taking mitzvah seriously enough. The Rambam in Hilchos Tshuva, the Rambam says in Hilchos Tshuva, in the fourth parak of Hilchos Tshuva, halacha beis, he says 5 things that are noyel darkei atshuva, 5 things that block the gate of repentance, that cause people not to stay. 5 things, Akon. Thank you for being here, Doivi, Azi, and Akon. Thank you. 5 things, Chevra, that stop tshuva, says the Rambam. And the third one is, he says, amalig ala mitzvahs, somebody who laughs at mitzvahs. Shekivan shenis bazu be'enov, since they are not chashiv in your eyes, einoi roidef achareim, you do not pursue them, and you don't do them. And if you don't do them, b'ma yizke, we're zeichet to mitzvahs, to tzivoy Hashem, to the commands of Hashem. And the Rambam says an attitude of liglug ala mitzvahs, of laughing at mitzvahs, is noyel darkei atshuva. I want to tell you a story that I witnessed with my tata. My father, I was with him in camps for many years. I grew up in camp, and my father is a very easygoing person in terms of let kids be kids. I do not see him protesting the plays in camps. I don't see him like, he's not somebody who's all over kids for acting like kids. Let kids be kids, a very, an ayin tov and an understanding attitude. I saw all the years. I come to visit my father once in camp, and he was so upset. He was angry during Havdalah. They closed the lights, and Bachram started like making noises, and he got very upset. Shaloi kedarkoi. If he's a negative person, critical person, so I wouldn't have learned anything. But he's an ayin tov, who says good things about people and is not critical. And he was very upset. And I met him later. I wasn't there b'shas the mais. He was very upset. He said that being mevaze a mitzvah, kids being lebedik, ishmak, riled up, it doesn't bother him. But during Havdalah is a mitzvah. Don't make jokes during a mitzvah. A mitzvah is serious. A mitzvah is gishmak. He was worried, lagleg ala mitzvahs, that they're making a mockery of a mitzvah. He was very upset. There's a gorgeous Rambam. I want to read to the Chevra, the Lashon Shel Zav, the golden language of the Rambam. The Rambam's in Hilchos Shchita Perek Yudalid. Listen, Davy, check out Yonatan Kleki. Listen to this Lashon, the Rambam. I want you to take your beautiful eyes, Chevra, and put them on this beautiful Rambam when you get a chance. If I can ask everybody to find the time today, tomorrow, sometime this week, Hilchos Shchita. Shchita's in the Rambam Kedusha. Hilchos Shchita Perek Yudalid. It's the last halacha in Hilchos Shchita. We know there's a Mitzvah Derisive of Kisui Adam, of covering the blood. I was zeicha a few times, many of us, when we do on Erev Yom Kippur, when we shlug kaparos, so the sheikh then shechs the bird and gives it to aniyim. So many of us have the opportunity to do kisei adam, that mitzvah deraisa of covering the blood. There's a mitzvah deraisa when you shecht an animal to cover the blood. Says the Rambam Yitzi, precious Yitzi Reis, when you get a chance sometime today, Hilchos Shchita Perek Yudalid, it's the last halach in Hilchos Shchita, Vigi. Ask your father, Vigi, where your Rambam is in the house. It's in Kedusha. It's in the Chelek, the volume of Kedusha, Hilchos Shchita Perek Yudalid. Says the Rambam, listen to his golden language. Ukeshemiskase, when you cover the dam, lo yechase beragloi. Don't cover with your feet. Ella biyadai, either with your hand, or besakin, or bekliya, with a knife or any utensil. Cover the blood in an honorable way. Kadesh la yinag minig bezayim b'mitzvahs. You shouldn't be naig a minig bezayin on a mitzvah. V'yei bezuyay salab. The mitzvah will be bazui, will be disgrace to you. Then the Rambam, listen, Mordechai Samwitz, listen to this gorgeous lashon of the Rambam. She'ena kavod la'atzman shel mitzvahs. The honor is not to the mitzvah. You're not honoring the mitzvah. Elo l'misha tziva behen baruch hu. You're honoring God. You're honoring not the mitzvah, but the mitzvah. You're honoring Hashem when you show honor to a mitzvah. V'atzilenu, Hashem saved us milamashmesh b'chayshech, from walking around in darkness. V'arachaysim, Hashem set up ner, a light, liyasher amaisim, to make our actions straight. V'ar, and a great light, lahayreis nesivos hayosher, to show us the straight path. V'cheinu omer, and it says about mitzvahs, ner l'ragli, they are a light for my feet. V'ar l'nesivasi dvarecha, v'darecha ar l'nesivasi. The Rambam says that the covet to a mitzvah, of course, is a covet to Bari Olam, who is mitzvah on the mitzvah. And the importance of showing a tremendous respect for mitzvahs. Chas v'sholom amalag ala mitzvahs. This person who ended up being Mikalo, the start of his veering off, his vayetze was lagleg ala mitzvahs. He laughed at the lechem upon him. He didn't understand the mitzvah and he mocked the mitzvah. And the hefech is to always take mitzvah seriously, to have a tremendous sincerity, to have a tremendous simcha of a mitzvah, appreciate a mitzvah, be mechabed a mitzvah. I want to learn the exact opposite attitude of appreciating mitzvahs. The Gomorian Psachim Kuf Yud Gimel Amudei says as follows. The Gomorian Psachim says that 7 people are called Menuda Lashamayim. They're in Chayrim, in heavens. Hashem puts them in Chayrim. And one of them is somebody who doesn't wear tzitzis. Somebody who doesn't wear tzitzis. Frek Taisvis. Frek Taisvis. Frek Taisis, if he doesn't have, Taisis is bothered by, you're not mechoyev. Tzitzis is, if you have Dalit Kanfais, so you have to put tzitzis on there. Why is he menudal shamayim if he doesn't have? Says Taisis, a person should run after mitzvahs like we find by Moshe Rabbeinu. He brings the Gemara Saita, many of us learned together, Daf Yud Dalit and Saita, that Moshe was toiv, had a taiva, likanes l'Eretz Yisrael, in order to be Mekayim mitzvahs. Now we've asked Mayor Davidson a kash on this Taisvis. Taisvis says, Akiva Kolt, I thank you for being here. Listen to the kasha we asked on Taisvis. Taisvis says a terrible einish to somebody who doesn't try to wear tzitzis. He doesn't have, he should be tayev lemitzvahs, he should desire mitzvahs. So we asked, why did Taisvis bring the Gemara site to Yodalid? Taisvis should have brought the Gemara Menachas, Daf Mem Aleph. The Gemara Menachas, Daf Mem Aleph says that Be'idan Rischa, when Hashem is angry, when there's Midas Hadin, a person, thank you so much, Aaron, for putting on the Lashon Rambam. Now everybody can look at that golden language. It's on the chat. Thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate it, Aaron. Beautiful. So Rabbi say, why did Taisvis quote, when Taisvis wants to say that one should run after tzitzis, and he brings that Moshe Rabbeinu was toiv lemitzvahs, why didn't he quote the Gemara Menachas Mem Aleph, which says that a person is punished for not wearing tzitzis, b'sh'idin risk at a time of din? Lanius daiti, the reason Taisvis didn't quote the Gemara Menachas. Today, nobody's punished for not wearing tzitzis. The Taisis in Menachas and Taisis in Erchin says this. The Taisis in Menachas, the Gemara Menachas, that it says we're punished for not wearing tzitzis, means if it's the derech to wear tzitzis. If everybody wears tzitzis, everybody wears 4-cornered garments, And thus they put tzitzis. The mitzvah is a four-cornered garment. You got to wear tzitzis, Viggy. If everybody wears four-cornered garments and a yid purposely doesn't wear it to make sure he doesn't have the mitzvah, so then he's punished. Be'idin rischa. But we're talking about bismanenu. Bismanenu, nobody wears a four-cornered garment. So certainly a person is not punished for not wearing it. He's not doing anything. So what does the Gemara Pesachim mean? That it says in Shemayim, they get upset and Yid doesn't wear tzitzis. What does the Gemara Pesachim mean? That has nothing to do with the Gemara Menachos. In the Gemara Menachos, where he's punished, Be'idin Rischa, is he purposely was mafkiya the mitzvah. He purposely doesn't wear dalit canvas to make sure he doesn't have the mitzvah. The answer, Rabbi say, is we learn an attitude about mitzvahs from Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael. He was misavel mitzvahs. He had a taiva for mitzvahs, Rabbi say. We learn a new attitude from mitzvahs. Of course, every loyal servant of Hashem, when Hashem commands, we do. You're not rebellious to God. God who gave us our hands, our eyes, our nose, our mouths, and better yet, gave us Mayor Davidson, gave us Naftali Friedler. We're makir toiv, avada, we're not disloyal to Hashem. What it means is, Moshe Rabbeinu taught us a new madrega. Not only are we loyalists to Hashem when He's mitzaveh, we do, when He commands, we do, but we also look to get His command. Moshe was in Chutz La'aretz. He's not mitzvah in Trumas and Meisris. He bedavka went in to Eretz Yisrael, was mitzaveh to go to Eretz Yisrael because he wanted a tzivui. Nishnar that when he gets a tzivui, he listens to tzivui. Not only when Hashem commands, he does it. He wants to have a tzivui. He has a taiva for mitzvahs. He purposely washes, so he has a chiyuv to bench. Avad, if he washes, he bench. But Moshe Rabbeinu would want to wash. He would bedavka wash in order to bench. He wanted to go to Eretz Yisrael. I asked the Chevra daily, look at Avrami's beautiful tzitzis. Avrami, get Avrami, I like those tzitzis. Look at his beautiful tzitzis, his precious Ben Torah, good. Avrami, I think like this, when we put on our tzitzis, we should have in mind like this. This is what I ask, simple pshat. Before you think about the mitzvah, you put on a very weird beged. This tzitzis beged is weird. The goyim in Waterbury don't wear this strange garment. They wear undershirts and shirts. What's the deal with that weird garment? Rami, raise up that weird garment. Why do you have a weird garment? That's not tzitzis. That's a weird garment. On your weird garment, you put on tzitzis. What? That's not weird. That's a mitzvah Hashem. What's the deal? Why are you wearing such a funny garment? Because you have a taiva mitzvahs. Because I want mitzvahs. When you put on tzitzis, it's not, I'm putting on a mitzvah. It's not what's happening. I'm putting on a weird garment because that weird garment has a mitzvah to have tzitzis, and I want a mitzvah. I want God to command me. Not only when He commands me, I listen. I want His command, Simchas Bern. So I put on a weird garment that's not the mitzvah yet. On my weird garment, it has four corners. Show us the four corners, Avram. I want to make sure. Four corners. What's that? You weren't on the spotlighted yet. One. That's only one. Two more, three. Four. His garment has four corners. That garment, you know why he wore that garment today? Because he's misavel mitzvahs. So if I wear a four-cornered garment, then Hashem will command me, hey, put strings on those four-cornered garments. And a yid is misavel mitzvahs. So a yid has a taiva for mitzvahs. Where did we get that from? That when Hashem commands, we're loyal, beseder, but that I want Hashem to command me. I want the connection to God. I want a connection to Hashem. I'm misavel mitzvahs. Our attitude to mitzvahs, to me, this is something that literally can change our home. An attitude of chashivas ha-mitzvahs, a tremendous sense of mitzvahs are chashiv. Mitzvahs are important in our home and bringing that attitude to our home. A chavivus and a chashivus for mitzvahs. Learn in our own houses to make tremendous simcha shel mitzvah. There's a lashon I quote often of the Zohar, who was hichmir ma'od b'zeh. The Chai Adam brings this. The Chai Adam wrote a whole section of rules about mitzvahs, of how to perform mitzvahs. And the Chai Adam, and I'll quote it to you, the Chai Adam writes as follows. The Chai Adam writes, he brings from the Zohar that the Zohar was hichmir ma'od b'zeh, was very machmir not to get a mitzvah for free. Somebody offered me many times to buy me daled minim. I want to give it to you. Chas v'shalom, I didn't want it. I don't want a free daled minim. The Zohar was machmir ma'od that a person should buy a mitzvah. They should spend kesef on a mitzvah. The attitude we're misavel mitzvahs. We have a taiva for mitzvahs. We want it. I want to pay for it. I want to go buy it. One of the great attitudes, Rabbi say, that we can bring in our life. The Chai Adam is in Klal Samaches. If you look at a Chai Adam in Klal Samaches, he brings all the conditions needed on every single mitzvah that you do. And if you check it up, it says that a chiyuv to be misaveh, he should be misaveh for mitzvahs. He should go pay money for the mitzvah. I think Rabbi say this is an attitude that we must bring in our homes, a tremendous excitement and celebration of mitzvahs. By me, always in my family, I happen to have a tremendous love of two mitzvahs specifically, tefillin and the mitzvah of Kiddush. Tefillin to me is magical. When Vigi Ben Ayim got up and he showed the tefillin he got from his Zayda, to me that was electric. Too many guys don't think about it. Take out your tefillin. This is $1,000 gift. I don't know how much your tefillin cost. Your dad gifted you with $1,000 gift, and it's worth millions and millions, more than all the kesef azav sheba'olam. Hold your tefillin bag. By the way, when you walk with it, carry it with love. There's ways you don't carry your tefillin. When you hold your tefillin, you hold it like this. You don't carry it like it's too precious. Hold it close when you carry your tefillin. Chavivus ha-mitzvah, tefillin's precious. A mitzvah is very precious. From the greatest moments of my life, I was zeicha to make a beautiful soda. On each day that my children, 4 boys so far, I was zeicha, they put on tefillin. Such an important buy, spend good money on it, and then make a beautiful soda. Hanochas tefillin, a beautiful celebration. Your child now is putting the crown, the keser shel Torah on. Chavivus ha-mitzvah. Build your home on a preciousness for mitzvah, not what you tell your kids, what we do ourselves. Build our home very, very much on preciousness of mitzvahs. What we do ourselves when we bench with a simcha rabbah, when we make kiddush with a tremendous simcha, to do mitzvahs in a way that show our family a tremendous chavivus for mitzvahs, a preciousness, when we make havdalah with a tremendous joy, each mitzvah done with a simcha, each mitzvah done with thought, each mitzvah done with a geschmack, we can bring an attitude of chavivus ha-mitzvahs to our family. Chas v'shalom liglag ala mitzvahs, laughing at mitzvahs, and a general laxity, a lack of simcha, lack of excitement for a mitzvah, is the Rambam says what's noyel darkei atshuva, that causes people, blocks people from getting close to Hashem. What's mechazek tremendously, a household that's brought close to Hashem, is an attitude of geschmack, appreciation of mitzvahs. Sometimes we understand the mitzvah, and sometimes we don't understand fully why Hashem's saying, but no matter what, we appreciate it. It's a mitzvah Hashem. It's a direction that Hashem was mitzvah us. This attitude of simcha shel mitzvah, this attitude of appreciating mitzvahs, is one of the great lessons of this Yid who was melagleg on mitzvahs, who laughed at mitzvahs. He made fun of the lechem upon him, and afterwards he came and he sung to great to great depths. The start of his journey, the Torah says to us, is Vayetze, is that he was lagleg, he laughed at the lechem upon him. I think for us all, it's something we can bring to our homes, an attitude by celebrating mitzvahs, by enjoying them, by studying them, finding out what they mean as best as possible, performing them in a geschmacka way. It's just, we could teach such an important attitude. You can go on a family trip, and certainly you have to count two things only on a family trip. You make sure your whole family is there. Nobody's replaceable. Mom, dad, each of the kids, and then you make sure the tefillin are there. Anything else, you forget an undershirt, well, yeshiva guys will manage for the week. We'll buy you a pair somewhere. We'll buy you a pair. Anything else, we'll figure it out. Tefillin, we can't get tefillin on our vacation. Make sure the tefillin are there. The precious tefillin. Teach for ourselves an attitude. Chavivas HaMitzvah, that precious gift our Tata gave us, that precious gift that we were given from our Father, gave us tefillin, which says here, take the crown of Torah, appreciate mitzvahs, develop for ourselves and our families Chavivas HaMitzvahs. This is something, an attitude in a home that certainly causes people instead to be close. Tremendous kirvas Hashem it causes. The Messiah Sisharim tells us that the path, the closeness to Hashem is hein ha-mitzvahs. There through mitzvahs, bring a chavivas ha-mitzvahs. My father has a friend who is a big tzaddik, and this yid wouldn't sleep on Shabbos Kodesh. He wouldn't sleep on Shabbos. He loved Shabbos Kodesh. For many years, he stayed up the entire Friday night. He didn't want to give up 1 minute of Shabbos. Such a chavivus of precious, of inyanei kedusha, of mitzvahs. Shabbos was his mitzvah. Of course, all his kids are beautiful, are wonderful yidden, erlucha yidden. He had chavivus ha-mitzvahs. That's how we build a home. We build a home with a tremendous, in all our homes, mitzvahs here are celebrated. Mitzvahs are valued. Mitzvahs are studied. Mitzvahs are cared about. A friend of mine described how his father approaches the Ner Chanukah. No wonder all his kids are tzaddikim. There's such a chavivus of that mitzvah. It's no wonder all his kids are so precious. There's chavivus ha-mitzvahs in that home. They value mitzvahs. They celebrate mitzvahs. This is something we easily could bring to our families. Rav Aaron David, our Rabbi, he sings benching. He's older. He's not a youngster. He's still younger. You know from Mesivta, but he sings benching with his family. Chavivus ha-mitzvah. Mitzvah's geschmack. A mitzvah is so important. He does it this way. Each word is said. This way, benching's not in oil. It's something to sing. It's a precious mitzvah. This for ourselves and for those in our environment that we can work on, making sure a mitzvah is given the proper chashivas. We come from Moshe, we're mis'ave, Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe is our Rebbe. We're mis'ave, we have a taiva for mitzvahs. Perhaps even when we put on our tzitzis is meant to remind us of all mitzvahs. In putting on our tzitzis, we can remember that we're putting on the weird beged that's then chayiv in tzitzis. We remember this attitude of chavivus ha-mitzvahs. I wanted to see, let me see if Yosef is here. Sion Barzili, thank you very much for being here. Huda Krupka, I'm unmuting you for a second. How are you, Huda?
I'm great, Rabbi. How are you?
Are you also as excited? We're on the 31st day of Sfira. We're getting to
there.
Day, Yehuda.
Yeah, very excited.
Thank you, Yehuda. It means a lot that you're here. Thank you, Yehuda, for being here.
Thank you, Rabbi.
A.B. Plotzker's here, and I think I'm going to be able to. Shlomo Zalman Rezik says Shlomo Zalman. A.B. Plotzker's here. Hello, A.B. Nice to see you, A.B. Excellent. And Shea Eisen is here. Fantastic. Let me unmute Shlomo Zalman. You're unmuted. How are you, Shlomo Zalman?
Thank the Holy Lord, I am amazing.
You have a gorgeous voice. My kids and I were discussing over Shabbos that it's a taina we haven't had you sing yet, Shlomo Zalman.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry.
I'm going to get the mishpacha. I'm going to get your wife on the case. Maybe later this week, Shlomo Zalman.
Yeah, could be.
So nice to see you, Shlomo Zalman.
Great to be here.
I love the background, but the foreground's even much more geschmack for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's look. Yosef, you're unmuted.
How are you, Rabbi?
Excellent, excellent. You're right next to Gershi on my screen, between Eli Metz and Gershi. What a spot. How are you, Yosef?
Amazing, especially now that Gershi's hair is brushed nicely. It's amazing.
I'll show that. Yosef, I lost you, Yosef?
I'm right here.
Perfect. It moves on the screen when somebody's on. Which song should we do, Yosef? First, I have to ask, would you sing for us, Yosef?
It would be my utmost pleasure. My Taivas Hana. I would sing. I feel like after today's share, it would be only appropriate to sing "Vani Kirvasa" like him in the words of the Mesilas Yesharim. Exactly what Rebbe's talking about.
Take it away, please.
All right. This is for Rebbe. This is for next year's draft pick, number 1, Yosef Dovi Friedman.
Good call. Good call, Yosef.
Vani kirvas Elohikim, kirvas Elohikim litoi. 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 Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Vani kirvas Elohikim litoi, litoi. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Vani kirvas Elohikim litoi, litoi. Ali Metz, baby, nice shade.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Thank you, Yosef. That was really stunning. Yosef, thanks a ton.
Thank you.
That really was stunning. Akiva Balls, for all who didn't see Akiva's video, it's really funny. Thank you, Akiva. You're unmuted, Akiva. How are you, Akiva?
I'm doing amazing, Rebbe. Everybody better watch what you're doing on that Zoom. We're going to see everything, and it's going in here, okay? So
I saw everybody was much more careful today.
No picking your nose.
You may be on the next Akiva video. Everybody was much more like sitting upright, and I saw Gershi made his hair, Akiva. We were all just more careful today. Everybody should have a wonderful, wonderful 31st day of the Omer, wonderful day. Thank you, Manny. Let me see those brothers sitting together. That is awesome. Let me just show. The brothers together, fantastic. Fantastic. Everybody should have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Tonight, Rabbi say at 8:30. Tonight will be Avos at 8:30. Tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, will be 2 o'clock. Tomorrow, I would like to speak about, even though it's going to be the Lamed Beis, tomorrow I want to speak about Lag BaOmer already, tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Thank you, Mayor Davidson, for being here. Thank you, Rabbi Say. Have an outstanding day, Rabbi Say. Have an excellent day. Kol Tov.